Hello, everyone. Debra Neal Baker here with Serious Business sponsored Spilling Tea. And as you can see, we have a guest today. Some of you may know him. He's really pretty famous in our industry. And that is Eric Fisher. And there's a lot to say about Eric. When we talk about, how do you introduce Eric? He's a hairdresser. He's an educator. He's a salon owner. He's a school owner. He's an author. He's a photographer. He's won several NAHA awards. And all of those things for me kind of create one, if I had one word to say about Eric, what he is a student of our industry. And so welcome Eric Fisher from Wichita, Kansas, my home state. And it's really good to have you, Eric.
Well, Debra, what a pleasure it is to be here for you and Serious Business, of course. And you and I have known each other for an awfully long time. And I love the way that you kind of epitomize that I would say I'm definitely a student for life. And that's kind of what drives me, I think, is that, that curiosity to keep learning things, keep growing, keep moving in a direction. So I thought that was very apropos. Thank you.
Well, it's the truth. And, I mentioned that, some of our audience, I know you're well known in the industry. And of course, we all have kind of like our tribes, and really the intention of Serious Business is it's for all of the tribes of the industry. So there are going to be a certain group of people that aren't as familiar with you. But I will tell you this, your participation in Serious Business, those people that really hadn't really known you were crazy about you. And they got so much value and benefit out of what you shared at Serious Business. So, I expect these next 30 minutes to be just as insightful and beneficial.
I'll try my hardest, I promise you.
I don't think you even have to try. So I want to start with a question about this last year. And what is the one thing that surprised you the most about the pandemic experience?
I guess there are a lot of things that surprised me. I was challenged with. This was an unbelievable year like none other. And I think as a company, our culture remains so strong, and people really coalesce together and work together and all focus together. And the level of communication we have for our company is really unprecedented, and we reach out constantly. But the culture stayed strong. We Zoomed every day. We text. We kept in contact. Everybody had a positive attitude, and nobody really went south. Everybody was really, really positive and stayed strong. And I felt really great about that, because going into unknown territory, especially with something as unprecedented as this situation was, you just don't know the anxiety and the focus that people have and where it's going to go, what's going to happen. For instance, I know, a lot of hairdressers have dropped out of the industry, 30% in California. You don't have a job for 10 months. You change your career, you do something. And, we've got a great HR department in my company, and we made sure that, I think we furloughed well over 100 people, 130 people, but we made sure they were taken care of. And I think they really appreciate the fact that, we're not a big corporation or anything like that, but we have 2 HR people that just work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, making sure that everybody was taken care of. And I think that commitment to a team, and it made everybody realize that we are a big family here in Wichita, America, and we stick together. And I lost maybe 2 people in the whole transition. That was it. So I'm grateful for it. We learned a lot, I think.
Wow, that's you only lost 2 people. Well, it doesn't surprise me again that it's that old cliche, speed of the leader, right? And it sounds like you're always engaged and involved in your salon business and your
I
school
think.
business. You're physically present a lot, yes?
Thank you. Yeah, I am, and I enjoy it. And I think as the leader of a company, you're indebted to those that you're leading. That's just a fact. And I think you have to demonstrate the kind of behavior that you expect everybody else to exhibit. So, I bought those expensive $1,000 spray guns, and guess what? My wife and I and my son, we were down spraying the salons, because we were closed. And I said, hey, I didn't tell people I was doing it, but they, everybody knows. So, you lead by demonstration, and certainly if you want your people to really put the time in and commit to a certain level of excellence and capability and commitment, then you've got to demonstrate that. And and you know what? I do it not because I have to, I do it because I want to. And I love work. And my wife says I'm kind of an anomaly when it comes to that, but I really do enjoy it, and I enjoy the relationships I have with my team. And it wouldn't surprise me if and even during COVID, 8 of them came by and they all had masks on, but they all had alcohol, and we stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning and just kind of commiserating with each other about the sadness from clients and from other people that we know, and we embrace our people. I really do. They're my family. What can I say?
Oh, that's wonderful. So, what we were talking about what the pandemic has really created, all this uncertainty this last year, and of course, uncertainty can very much it fuels innovation, and change, major change. And when I hear I hear salon owners talking about the changes they've made in their business and like in their systems. What have you made any like major changes in how you actually have your salon business set up?
I think that probably the most salient thing I could tell you probably is our commitment, and this might sound pedestrian, but just to great sanitation and great health. The clients know that our place is safe. We clean constantly. We have attendants that spray and wipe down everything. Every time we do a shampoo, we wipe everything down. A haircut, we wipe everything down. And that sounds so basic, but it was so important. I'd say during that time, 85% of our reviews were saying, thank you. I felt safe. I don't go anyplace else, but I'll come to your place because I know you guys are on it. I mean, we do the regular things, the temperature and all that stuff. But and I think that understanding, all my team members and what their needs are. And, some people do have more anxiety than others. Some people are more insecure, where other people feel very, very confident we're going to get through this. So, it's almost like for myself, we learned a little bit more about situational leadership and my managers and how to deal with certain people and the challenges that they have and how to mollify those challenges and mitigate any damage that's been done. And really, I'd say, we act like everybody's going to give us a Yelp review. You want to be that good. And so the customer service, and this is what I tell them, they were down. Everybody was down. We're still down, okay? I mean, it's not perfect. We're down 25% probably right now as people are still apprehensive to come in. But I think that our systems got better, are definitely the things that we do to keep the place safe and sanitary. The customer service, we've always been exceedingly good at that, but we upped that game too to make sure that we were really, really on our A game all the time. And the expectation for that is really good. The client is always right. There's no challenges with that. That's categorical. We do that with every client. Even when they're wrong, they're right. And that was our commitment. And everybody drank the Kool-Aid in my company. So that's kind of the way it is. It's not the problem that's ever the problem. It's how you deal with the problem.
Yeah.
And, before COVID, we're seeing, we're doing 14,000 services a month. We're busy. And so this obviously, took a bite out of everything, but we're getting back to where we should be. But I think we tightened everything up just to make sure that, everybody's a little insecure about the shutdown. I'm not a big fan of these draconian measures. I don't know how states like New York and California make it through it. But anyway, things are better now.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about the measures, and it's really state to state, and of course, right now our neighbors, Texas and Mississippi, are you know, being, in the spotlight about, which I think, is a little bit, I mean, it's the extremes that I think are really, are what are most concerning. We got one extreme to the other.
It-
So,
you're, you're absolutely right about that. No question. I'm kind of like a moderate, a centrist. I like to stay in the middle. When you're a hairdresser, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you just have to, you can't be too opinionated about anything,
yeah. Well, when I hear you talk about customer service and you really ramped it up, it sounds to me like, and that's what I want you to elaborate on, it sounds to me like when you talk about your customer service, not that, I know you've got systems, but it also sounds like the way you be with your hairdressers and the client, that is like the essence of customer service. It,
No question.
it's really the way you treat others, and it sounds like that is your primary, that kind of drives everything.
I think you're absolutely right. And I guess I'm basically a little insecure, and I'm very demonstrative, and that's why I'm a good fit for this business. And as an owner of the company, you have to be obsessed with the right fit. So you want people that are in your company that have the same dedication, the same core values that you have. And when one of your core values is caring and kindness and empathy, then you have to hire people just like that. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't do that, and we do. We're obsessed with the right fit. We do testing for all of our team members, and testing can cost up to $300-400 a person, but it identifies certain values that they have. We do it with our university. So, and once you have a great fit, people imprint to the culture of your company, and it becomes self-policing. So you set the pace, but it really carries on all by itself. And you don't have to create stuff constantly to say, "Oh, my culture's down. You've got people that are dedicated to that certain standard, and it makes everybody's job easier. But if you don't get the right fit, I mean, a friend of mine from Arkansas actually called me. He says, "Man, I'm thinking about hiring these two people, and they want a $5,000 signing bonus. And what do you think?" I said, "You can't buy friendship. You can't buy great service. You can't buy, you can't buy great stylists." I said, "If you do that, I think you're making a mistake, because the culture could be so different. These guys are superstars. How's that going to work for your business?" And he hired both of them. One dropped out in 6 months. The other one's gone. It was terrible for his business. He said, "You were absolutely right. I don't know why I didn't listen to you." But I always, I like to raise my people, and I like them to imprint to what I think is the most important thing when it comes to business. And our guys are in it for the long term. When they come to work here, no matter what department, we hardly ever turn anybody over. I've got people with me since we started our company, and 20-year people, lots of 30-year people, and they're like family. So I think that empathetic thing, it just doesn't happen. You can't change human behavior. You can change skills, you can change knowledge, a lot of things you can teach people, but if somebody's not empathetic, they're never going to be empathetic, period. And so we look for the right fit to begin with, and I think that's one of our secrets, to be honest with you, Deborah.
So that would be because, obviously, I mean, there's a lot of people that are listening that they don't have the size of business that you have, although a lot of people, that's what their vision is. So what words of wisdom would you share with these younger hairdressers and even, salon owners that are just starting to build their business? What would be your words of wisdom, first to the young stylist and then to the young salon owner?
Well, young stylists, I would say, and this is just me, and I'm on practically coming up on my fourth decade of this. So take this for what it's worth. It may be terribly important. It might not be meaningful at all, but I would say outwork everybody else. That's my first thing. And I remember when I was an assistant at my first job, I was dating a girl whose father taught a Dale Carnegie course. Dale Carnegie is a leadership course. And I said to him, "What should I do?" And he said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I'll shampoo, I'll blow dry, I'll assist, clean, get people's lunch. He said, what time are you supposed to be there? I said, it's a 9 to 5 job. Back in those days, it was 9 to 5. He said, well, you get there at 8:30 and you work to 6. You don't take a lunch break, and you demonstrate the kind of behavior that super successful people have. If you're doing a shampoo, don't just do a shampoo. Do the best shampoo that client's ever had. And you tell that client, this is going to be the best shampoo you've ever had. And you do that. And then if it's a blowout, you just don't blow the hair dry. You teach them a style with knowledge. You teach them how to do it. And you really care. You pay attention. You hand them the brush. You make sure they can do it. If it's raining, you walk them out with an umbrella. If it's snowing, you call them to make sure they made it home okay. Or you go ask them if you can start their car for them. And you do that, and you don't miss, and you practice. You get really good at 3 things. You get in those days, it was just 2 things. You get good at your relationship part of the business, because that's what's going to bring the client back, and you get good at your skill set. The better your skill set, the better your chances of employment. And you've got to get good. And in my opinion, and I think I said it in the film, my dad asked me, you want to be good? Do you want to be great? Or do you want to be amongst the best? And I made that decision as a young guy. I wanted to be great. I just want to be amongst the best. And I worked, indefatigably to reach that point in my career. And I still don't think I've arrived. I did a shoot the other day. I worked maybe 40, 50 hours just on the hair pieces. And, I set up the lighting, and, it just never ends. But the most important thing, I think, for young people, it's the journey. You can't get discouraged. You're going to fall down. You pick yourself up. You're going to make loads of mistakes. We all do. Everybody does. You learn from your failures, and you just keep on going.
Do you find it, though, when I'm listening to you, do you find it a challenge finding the people that fit, and the people that, the way you just your words of wisdom and the way you've always operated, do you find that people want to work like you did, or that you do?
Debra, it is a different world. And, we hosted a thing this summer with school owners that own salons, and everybody is challenged with getting people that want to assist in their own companies. Everybody's challenged with it, because people don't have that intrinsic motivation to do what we used to do. They just don't. Young people don't. In my company, we need assistants, apprentices. I love my students, but they don't want to come work for me. You know why? They don't want to take a year out of their life to learn more, to do more, and to work their asses off, because they know I'm.
So how do you reconcile that? How do you deal with that? How do we deal with that?
It is difficult, and the only thing you can do is plead your case and say, when you're assisting, you're going to assist for those hairdressers that can do a weave in 15 minutes, that can make those, appease any and mollify any challenges with clients, because they're such good, they can formulate anything. You're going to learn how to dress hair better than anybody. I used to work for Modern Bride in New York for their magazine, doing updos. You're going to learn all these things. And you've got to, if you're an owner, you can't say, because I ask a lot of guys, do you have an education program? They go, oh yeah, we teach, probably once a month. When, where? Well, it just depends. Well, let me tell you, we teach every Tuesday night. I teach my 2 assistants every Tuesday morning. We teach Friday mornings, Friday afternoons, and Sundays. So if you want education, you come work for us. But the problem is that today's, unfortunately, and they may be right, I don't know, but they care more about their lives and living their lives in happiness and flexibility than they really do about dedicating a year or 2 and making themselves superstars. They're okay with mediocre, which maybe they're right, and so it's just like growing your business. You can look at your balance sheet and be driven by money. I got to grow. I got to make more money. I got to do this. Or you can grow your relationships, grow the quality of your work. You don't have to get big. I've got friends of mine that could buy and sell me 100 times over, and they've made so much money. One of my best friends has taken 2 companies public. He is just unbelievable, but that's what he does, and that's what he loves. And he sacrificed so much, and family, friends, and all that, because it's a tough life. And I would rather be dedicated to my relationships, dedicated to the quality of what I do, not get bigger, but get stronger internally. And I think that's really important.
Well, when you mention about getting, staying smaller and maybe not getting as big, it makes me wonder that because of the way people come to the workplace now, the newer generations, is that we don't have as many people that fit into these big salons. Like you, Van. I mean, we've all grown. You've got a lot of people that have grown fairly sizable salon businesses, and it makes me wonder if we were doing that today, it would be probably very different, because we don't have we're not finding the fits that want to, so being small or staying smaller is probably not even, it's going to be, there's going to be some, it's just going to work out that way. Because
I think you're absolutely right. And I think the big, investment, $1 million salons, I think that's that is, it's an anachronism if you can find one these days. Nobody's doing that anymore. They just don't want to invest the time, the money, and the energy. And when people don't appreciate what you do for them, and so when you're an owner, you do work all the time, and you've got debts to pay, and part of the profit it's a representation of your risk that you take and all the hours that you work, and you put your ass on the line. And people don't really care about that as much. They want a great place to work, but I think your small little boutique salons are going to be more in vogue than your big ones. I think that things have changed. And by the way, I grew up. I've been fortunate enough to work around the world in great places, and I was always held to a certain standard by photographers when I was doing hair. It had to be not good; it had to be great. I did campaigns in Greece on the islands for Cosmopolitan magazine, and man, those guys were tough on me, really hard. But I learned from it. I learned to be really good. But you open a magazine today, and it is, you don't see, it's crap. The hair is so soft, so bad. I barely see anything that ever inspires me anymore. That's why I switched to photography, because I still love photography, and there's so many wonderful photographers out there. But photography's become very democratized too. People show me their pictures on Instagram. They go, "Oh, isn't this a great picture?" I go, "No, that picture sucks. Why would you think that's great? The light's bad, the composition's bad." So people's taste, people don't wear Prada and Versace anymore. They wear Adidas and Nike. Not that that's wrong. I do the same thing, but that level of excellence, we used to, when we did shows, I'd come out with, Yohji Yamamoto jacket and Prada pants, and everybody looked so good, Van and I would, dress to the nines. We'd spend every dime we had on good scissors, good shoes, and a good outfit to wear on stage.
So you don't think that's relevant anymore, huh?
I don't think it's relevant at all. It's the casual life. Maybe things will turn around. And it's what I tell my students when we're cutting those really tight little graduations. They go, we never see these. Why do we have to do these? I go, because it'll come back and it makes you a damn good hairdresser. You've got to commit to that level. I'm not going to do beach waves and long trims and long layers. You got to learn the hardcore stuff. That's my old standard.
That definitely makes it a more of a challenge, and actually fuels the independent mindset that's out there. If hairdressers were doing the kind of haircuts that we used to see,
yes,
I don't think they'd be able to go into an independent situation quite so soon, because they'd have to master this haircutting skill that is, it doesn't exist today.
Well, and everything's been so homogenized that where does a young hairdresser hit that sweet spot where they go, "Oh my God, this is beautiful. I've done this. I feel good about myself. I want to commit more time and energy because this was really hard. You know, when I did my first graduated bob, I think it took me 5 hours. I mean, a really good one, you know? And nobody does that anymore. They don't want to put the time in. Even in my own company, they don't see the relevance of it. But for me, you know, when I see my students that drop out of school because they can't make enough money or whatever, they're waiting tables, it breaks my heart, first of all. But secondly, they never reach that sweet spot. They never gave the time and the energy that it should take to be where they need to be. Because when you do something really well, it makes you feel absolutely great about yourself. And that's a really important aspect of what we do. When a client loves their hair, I tell you what, it's like doing a good deed. When you do a good deed for somebody, they feel good about it, you feel good about it, and everybody that witnesses that feels good about it. When that client goes out, she gets so many compliments on her haircut, you know, then nothing's better. And I tell everybody, what you put out the door is what you get back. So you don't need every client. You know, go for those clients, hustle those clients, prospect for those clients that represent the kind of work that you want to be doing. And you can build a client. Listen, I've been doing this a long time. If you saw my clients, they're like my age, but they wear amazing haircuts. I don't do any, you know, every haircut I do, in my opinion, I only work 2 days behind the chair, but it's a masterpiece. It's good.
No,
It's
I'm,
really
I'm
good.
sure. You know, it's funny because I can remember when I was younger and when I first started I was interested in the beauty industry. What I would do, when I would see a great haircut, and I still do it today. When I see a great haircut, I walk up to the person and say, "I love your haircut. You know, where did you get it cut?" But I don't see that very often, so I don't I don't have those moments anymore where, you
You know,
know.
it's like a quick little funny story. I'm out with my kids. It must have been probably a year ago, and there was a beautiful girl sitting by herself. And I go, "Oh my gosh, guys, look at that haircut on her. It's really beautiful." And they're like, "Dad, just calm down. Don't say anything." They know me, right? I'm like you. So what do? I get up and I go, "I just want to tell you that you're a beautiful woman. Your hair looks amazing." And she, you know what she said? She should. I get it done at your place.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Very happy about that. But yeah, you know, it's you know, we got to get back to where we're so proud of what we're doing, and
Yeah.
we feel good about the results that we're giving our clients. And at the end of the day, you know, that's who we are. That's what we stand for. You know, the money is a byproduct of what we do. It's never the goal. It's a validation of our commitment to our industry, but your skill level and your interpretation and how you see things. And kids can't see today because there's nothing to see.
Yeah, all of
But you
that is,
have,
the money comes from that.
yes, you have to
Absolutely.
develop
Yeah.
that
The money doesn't come first. It comes from that for sure. You know, well,
right.
you know, we're all having this similar and same conversations over and over again. And I always like say, "Oh, what God, we've been having the same conversation for the 40 years that I've been in the industry." But one of the things that's a kind of a new conversation is how people in our industry, how they're competing in this omni-channel world. So, what's your comments or thoughts about navigating in the omni-channel world in our industry?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I was on a Clubhouse podcast last night about education, and we were talking about that. You know, somebody's got 150,000 Instagram likes. Are they a good teacher, or are they just have a good technique? You know, um, it's a melting pot of things, and it's difficult to discern things these days. I would say that kids today, anybody who's building a business today, needs three things. They need great skills. I mean, not good skills. I mean, great skills. You got to work hard to be great, and in different areas, whether it's color, cutting, long hair, dressing, whatever. Secondly, they need great relationship skills. There needs to be that wonderful exchange of energy with people that you really, really, really are in the moment with them. You focus, you look them in the eyes, you know, you nod your head up and down, but you really are in the moment. You got to be there. Nothing's more important. You want to bring the client back, they'll come back if they like you, even if they don't like their hair. And the third thing is that these young kids have to have a business strategy. They have to have a social media strategy. They got to reach out to all those platforms because they're relevant today. So they've got to have, they should have a referral strategy, an email strategy. They should have a guarantee strategy, a review strategy. They need to be the architect of their destination, because the salon owner, the spa owner might not always do that for them. They might try. They might have a good brand. I mean, I think we were seeing like 400 new clients a month. And that doesn't mean just because we are a good pool, a good brand, that the hairdresser is going to retain that client. And it doesn't mean that hairdresser shouldn't prospect for other clients, because prospecting is one of the most important things that anybody can do, whether it's on a social media platform or whether they're handing out BOGOs, VIP cards, or whatever they happen to do. We are super big company. You know, we're a Prosper You company. So we walk the walk and talk the talk. My daughter, Perry, was a waxer in California, in out of this big chain. There are hundreds of waxers. She was the number one waxer. Number one. She had the best Yelp reviews, the highest average tickets. She made the most money. And so I was doing a show in San Jose, and they picked me up, and her boyfriend's this Octavio Vila. He's a wonderful guy. He says, "You want to see why Perry's number one?" I said, "Yeah." So we go to the apartment complex, and about 300 apartments. Says, "Perry is here once a month, all social gatherings. She hands out BOGOs to everybody all the time. She has VIP cards, and you can't get into her. And she treats everybody like everybody's going to leave a review. And everything, she's OCD, so the room is so super damn clean. It's unbelievable. She's hard to live with because she's so clean.
She's your dad's daughter.
Yeah." Everybody gets an amazing experience. Like, everybody's going to use a Yelp review. She's a little paranoid, and I think you have to be a little paranoid. You really have to want to succeed. You really got to search out whatever's relevant to you in your area. And just like handing out cards, I go, well, you can hand out cards, on the street corner, or you can hand out cards at Barney's or Nordstrom's or Saks or the makeup department here or there. You got to choose your client. Now, that being said, it's easy to be fooled. You can have a client that walks in in a broad outfit with a little bob, and you can also have a client that walks in sweats with long hair. That doesn't mean that she doesn't want, something really great. It's easy to be fooled these days.
Well, you've really shared, it's on so many levels, it's like the basics that, honestly, on a lot of this, that's what kind of doesn't change that much on how you build your business. There's a lot of it that doesn't change, even while there is change happening. So it's what you've shared today is really just, it's not a secret sauce. It's, again, you are one of those people that have always had the discipline and the desire and the drive to create what you've created. And, even though there may not be as many people that have that kind of drive anymore, I know that there are people have been listening in the last 30 minutes that will take what you've said and really think about it and implement it, because you're a living example of what's possible in our industry. And we have an incredibly special industry where we get to physically touch people, make them feel good, and you've done such a masterful job of doing that. And so I just want to thank you, Eric, for being a friend and a mentor and such an inspiration.
Well, I so appreciate those kind words. And, I feel the same way about you and your organization and the people that you surround yourself with. They're all committed to such great levels of excellence. It's anything I can ever be associated with you. I'm just happy as anything that you invited me to do this today. So it really means a lot. And you're right. There is no secret sauce. There is just the sauce, and it's pretty fundamental. And anybody can make it. It's hard, but it's not a secret.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you. Take care.